Titanoboas are hiding in the water and underground. If these sightings are anything to go by, the Amazon rainforest could be hiding a long-forgotten prehistoric snake. For starters, have a look at these madmen who decided it would be a good idea to try and catch a Titanoboa. This is definitely a do not try this at home moment, but these trackers clearly had no fear. They set off in their small boat down a murky river in search of a mighty prehistoric snake. It didn't take long for them to find exactly what they were looking for, but it was quite clear the snake was well aware of their presence. The serpent was hiding in a large clump of tall grass, but the hunters went in head first and tried to lure it out. They poked at it with paddles and other pointy objects until the snake finally had enough and swam back into the river. This kicked off a daring pursuit where the hunters chased after the snake through the middle of the river. They continued to poke at it with their paddles until one of them actually managed to grab hold of the mighty serpent. It was a pretty harrowing capture, but it looks like the trackers eventually released it back into the water. This one could have ended in so many different ways, but it looks like everyone managed to walk away unharmed. Although these hunters technically accomplished their initial goal, this is a challenge that should probably never be repeated. Now here is something you probably wouldn't expect to find at the job site. This construction worker was probably expecting to have a normal day before he dug up the world's largest snake. The worker was operating an excavator when they made the discovery of a lifetime. Just as they were digging their way through the dirt, they realized that a rather large creature was hiding underground. The worker continued to dig around the mysterious beast until they finally realized that it was a giant snake. They decided to reach in and yank the serpent out of the ground with the excavator's claw, and the result was truly shocking. This snake was far bigger than anything they had ever seen before, and took all the excavator's power to lift it out of the ground. Experts have determined this snake likely measured over 40 feet in length, which would put it in Titanoboa territory. It's a bit of a mystery what happened to the snake after it was pulled out of the ground, but it sounds like the worker decided to release it back into the wild. It's a good thing the worker was being protected by some heavy machinery, as this prehistoric snake could have done some serious damage. Okay, so this next one might not be as big, but it's just as important. It appears that this person might have spotted the first ever juvenile Titanoboa somewhere in the Amazon. While they didn't actively go looking for it like the previous guys, this one really managed to catch this person by surprise. They were motoring down another mysterious river when they saw a strange creature up ahead. It was clearly some type of snake, but actually identifying it was pretty tricky. But things only got even more interesting as they got closer to the serpent. The skin pattern seemed quite different from other snake species, and this really caught the attention of people online. Many people were drawing comparisons to the mighty Titanoboa, even if the size was slightly off. It might not have been as big as a full-grown Titanoboa, but some are convinced that it is a younger version that is still growing. If the juvenile was resting alone on the riverbank, then the much larger parent must have been very close by, and that is one encounter this person clearly wanted to avoid. Now here is a truly terrifying experience. Just imagine going into a murky swamp and having the plants start moving around underneath you while having no idea what's lurking in the waters. It's a bit of a mystery what this person was doing in such a spooky looking swamp on a very small raft, but things turned bad pretty quickly. You can see the tall grass and the lily pads moving around them while the raft is sitting perfectly still, indicating that something huge is swimming right underneath them. A massive snake bobbed out of the water next to the raft and showed off its gargantuan body. Now we only got a small glimpse of the creature, but you can clearly see how wide the snake is, and you can only imagine how long it must have been. Many people have likened the size of this serpent to the mighty Titanoboa, which has only added a new element of creepiness to this encounter. Thankfully, the snake decided to swim the other way and left the person alone, but this could have ended very badly. And finally, we have a very close call in Bolivia. This scary encounter happened right in the middle of the Amazon jungle and captured a possible Titanoboa heading back into its home. This one was definitely a little too close for comfort. This person was in a few meters of one of the world's largest snakes. It's a pretty unsettling sight to see the creature slithering across the ground, but thankfully it didn't seem to notice the nearby human. It navigated its way through the trees before it finally descended into a large hole in the ground. All this person could do is watch and film as the snake slowly made its way underground and disappeared into the dirt. Now thankfully the hole was quite large and is very noticeable. Just imagine walking through the forest and knowing that a massive snake could be hiding right underneath your feet. If anyone was caught off guard and didn't realize the massive hole in front of them, they could end up having a face-to-face encounter with the mighty Titanoboa. And that covers our look at the unbelievable Titanoboa sightings discovered in the Amazon rainforest. There's no shortage of interesting wildlife in this location, so you'll definitely need to be on high alert for these prehistoric giants. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone, and we'll see you all next time.